Okay, so here we are in the finals. You saw the Shedinja run, you saw the top four, probably, I don't know. As I mentioned, this isn't a super big tournament, it's probably the equivalent of like maybe a Premier Challenge in VGC. If we're being bold, maybe a mid-season showdown. Because I mean everybody in this is good, but you do have to qualify, I guess. So it's maybe a bit harder than a Premier Challenge. But yeah, even small scale, like it'd be nice to win something. I think my highest placement in any of the tournaments so far has been like 4th or 3rd, I don't remember. Like one of the longer ones, I think I was like top 6, but that was like 8 weeks worth, maybe longer. And then there was a ladder tour. I think I came top 4 in that. I don't remember. But anyways, I'm using the same team again. Bolshy Veltal, Standard Zacian, Bulky Thingo, Kyogre, the boy, and Scarf. No, this one, this S word, Sash Calyrex. It's just a fun team. Shedinja gives you a lot of positioning, so does Landorus, to be honest, but against, I would say different things, but it's still Zacian, really. Landorus gives you positioning versus Zekrom, which Shedinja cannot help with because of Terravolt. I didn't face any Zekrom though, and I don't think I do in these games either. So I'm against Mishimono, which I think is where everybody's saying Mish comes from. I don't know, maybe. They have a kind of cool team. They've got a Ho-Oh. I'm a big fan of Ho-Oh. I haven't really showed off any of my old teams because, you know, the Scarlet and Violet started leaking and it's hard to care about restricted Pokemon when there's like belly bolt stats and move pool. But yeah, the original team that I made for Series 12 when I started taking this format more seriously for the qualifiers the restricted pairing was Ho-Oh and Zekrom. It was a really cool team. So looking at things, Shedinja is kind of okay, but not really. He matches up well into the Dialga and the Zacian, but loses to everything else, right? Because Groudon always run rock moves, Ho-Oh's a fire type. This thing, like sometimes it doesn't run Poison or Dragon in 3v3, sometimes it just runs like Flamethrower or Mystical Fire. So like there's a very real possibility that it's just here as stall, and then obviously Calyrex. And even these two aren't guaranteed, although most of the time they are. So thinking about what to bring, I want the Landorus mostly because of the Groudon, if I'm being honest. I don't really want to bring Kyogre because of the Dialga and the Eternatus. They both kind of stonewall it pretty badly. And I want my own Calyrex because otherwise I feel like I will lose to the Dialga and the Eternatus. And obviously, you know, just lead Yveltal because, you know, nothing beats that. They lead their Groudon, which usually if you see lead Groudon in this format, that means it's got Fling. And it's going to fling a Light Ball, which is Pikachu's signature item, just for the paralysis. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not staying in here. I'm not getting my Choice Scarfer thing paralyzed, so I just U-turn out into my Landorus. And this seems like a good time to try and set up rocks and maybe damage the Groudon a little bit. And here's the Fling. So the next couple of turns are pretty boring. We just kind of exchange rocks, but I get paralyzed quite a bit, so it doesn't happen right away. And then we just sort of start chipping each other down. So this is kind of good for me because I didn't want to see Groudon switch out because it would be annoying if it did. So I'm glad that they're just sort of like, oh, I'm going to whittle the Landorus down. Which makes me think that whatever they have in the back is maybe weak to the Landorus. I get parried a few times, which is annoying because, you know, some damage on the Groudon would be nice. But this turn I get a critical hit, Earthquake into the Groudon, which kind of makes up for the lost damage. Because I do so much damage, I'm seeing this as an opportunity now to get my Calyrex in. Because if I get Calyrex in, I can get a boost off of the Groudon and potentially just sweep the opposing like team. Like the only thing I would need to worry about is their Calyrex, because it could be faster, it could be Scarf, or it could be, you know, we could just win the speed tie. So I get the KO, and then I get my what's the thing? Yeah, Grimnay boost. So we call him Astral Barrage boost. And they bring in Dialga right now, which for me is absolute best case scenario. Because Dialga, unless I max the Yveltal, and even then it's not ideal, is probably the hardest thing left for me to beat. Because obviously the Calyrex my Yveltal outspeeds it, so I can knock it out. But if it came in, I would have to take damage off with something, so it would be awkward and annoying. Hole, Yveltal doesn't care about because I've got Rock Slide. And then obviously like Zacian and Eternatus both lose to +1 Calyrex because I just max it and I go for max Ghost or max Psychic. So I just, seeing Dialga, I'm just like, fuck it, I'm gonna max. I'm gonna just batter through this thing, and I do. Like, that is hefty damage. And they go for the Steel Spike, but it doesn't knock me out. And they obviously died to the second hit. And at this point, I'm like, well, I'm pretty confident now. Like, I don't really see how they can bring this back, because even if they've got their own Calyrex, it doesn't matter because I've got Yveltal and they can't max it. Then Eternatus comes in. I go for the Phantasm instead of the max Psychic because I want to hide the information. I plan on just bringing the same team again, and I don't want to give away information just for fun. But at +2, it doesn't matter, and Eternatus just goes down. So game 2, they bring a different team. So something kind of cool about the Smogon circuits, which you don't really see in VGC, is you get to change teams between games. Now that's not really something we're used to, because obviously we have to pick a team and just stick with it for the rest of the day. So you've got to use that team for, like, you know, I mean, if you end up in the finals, that's what, like 15? No, is it more games? It's like maybe up to like 17 games, depending on how many rounds there are. So, like, you know, you really have to know your team. Whereas like in tournaments like this, you can just you can try and kind of catch your opponent, you know, sticking with the same stuff by swapping around. You know, maybe you built a counter team and you didn't want to bring it right away, or, you know, maybe you know what maybe they have like 2 teams that they use and you know which order they bring them in. I don't know. There's cool things you can do with being allowed like other teams. Also means if you lose, it's just like, okay, well, I didn't have a matchup there, I can change the matchup. But like I said, I didn't want to bring a different team because this has been my favorite team to use, and I don't have any more. Certainly not that I would want to bring in the finals. Although I did actually contemplate changing teams. I contemplated bringing the Marshadow team I made with the Necrozma Duskmane on it, but changing the Yveltal to Scarf Yveltal, but I opted against it and just decided to do a complete run with this team. Because obviously I played every qualifying game with this team, and I played all the top 4 and so far all of the finals with it. So I figured, you know, let's go all the way. So looking at team preview here, I see the scariest mon of all time, which is Hippowdon. I do not want to get yawned. I do not want to have a bad time. So this might be one of the few times where I don't lead with Boss Yveltal and lead with Kyogre, just because I really don't want to deal with a Hippo. Because they have Calyrex, I still feel like I should bring Yveltal, just again because it's Scarf and physical, so I can get the kind of drop on Zacian and Kyogre if they try and switch in, and I outspeed their Calyrex, and I'll outspeed their Yveltal, you know, providing they don't have any max boosts. And for the last, I bring Landorus, because I want a Zacian switch in, and I guess a Hippo switch in worst case scenario, which Shedinja can't do in this game because I'm not safety goggles and heavy duty boots. So the Hippo is actually a real problem. So yeah, I lead Kyogre because I really don't want to see any Hippos, and they lead Calyrex, which isn't really great for me. Because I'm not Scarf, I hard switch out because I don't want to take damage on my Kyogre, because I think it's really important to me winning this game. It also didn't seem worth maxing it, because if I max it and they're Sash, then I have to waste 2 turns getting rid of the Calyrex. And if I max it and they switch in Dialga, then it's like, okay, cool, now I've wasted that. It didn't really feel like it was a particularly advantageous situation for me to be in. And Yveltal, I've got a decent amount of HP investment in Yveltal, so I know that I can take Astral Barrage. And I do, I take 30%. And now I'm in a situation which I love to be in, where I just get to click Foul Play. Dialga comes in and takes a hefty chunk. So, didn't hit Pros early enough. So I don't want to sacrifice Yveltal, but I need it for the Calyrex, right? Because I haven't broken the Sash, if it has one, but I assume it does. And I know that Dialga typically run Thunder. They usually run one or both stabs, they all run Earth Power, and they usually run Thunder. And then it's a case of, do they have Dragon Stab or do they have like coverage? Sometimes they run Rock coverage for Shedinja and Ho-Oh, and sometimes they run just the Dragon move. So I figure like if they've got the Rock coverage or the Electric coverage, Landorus is just a pretty free switch in. And luckily for me they don't max, and also luckily for me they do go for Thunder, so I just eat that. So this is probably the play that, spoilers, loses them the game, because you've seen the free mons I have. I don't really have the best answers to Dialga. I think they maybe anticipated me maxing the Landorus and just wanted to get a big hit off before, you know, bringing in like maybe the Calyrex and start getting sweep going. But I just wanted damage on the Dialga because I thought they were gonna max, and I didn't want to risk, you know, switching in Yveltal because I need it. I didn't want to risk switching in Kyogre because I felt like I needed that too. And yeah, so they go for Draco, and I take that really comfortably. And because they didn't max, they didn't have a chance to KO. I think it was a roll based off the damage because I am very bulky, so I think it gains 10 base power. Draco Meteor goes from 130 to 140, so it would have been, I don't know, it would have been close, but they would have got an attack drop and I would have done considerably less damage. But yeah, because I think they were trying to set up for the Calyrex, it means that I survive very comfortably and I don't lose my attack drop, and Landorus just knocks the Dialga out, which is great for me, right? So I just stay in and I'm just like, Landorus has done its job, might as well see what this Yveltal set is, because I'll see if it's Life Orb or not, right? Or if it's Assault Vest. And luckily for me, like literally best case scenario, it is Life Orb. And as the fates would have it, Rain also wears off this turn. So that means that I'm pretty much free to bring in my Kyogre, set the Rain back up, and just max and go nuts. Because I am Life Orb as well, and they have already taken the necessary chip, basically, and they'll take even more just from the next attack. That means that my Kyogre, I just go for the water move. There's no need in getting fancy. This is my strongest attack versus Yveltal, and it just knocks it out. It's just gone. So they bring in their Calyrex, and they go for the Hail Mary here. They have to hope that their +2 is strong enough to deal with my Kyogre, and it's not. And then yeah, Kyogre gets the KO, which is pretty nice. I was kind of hoping that it would get the KO, or you know, it would crit or something, because then Yveltal would come in and I'm faster. So, and then, you know, because Yveltal was really the star of the show. Once at least in you know, the top 4 in the finals. Shedinja was the star of the show on the way there. And I just wanted the satisfaction of being like, oh, you fought. But yeah, I won. So I'm pretty happy about that. Like I said, it's nothing hugely special, but it's nice to win. This puts me into 3rd place in the Invitationals qualifying thing, which is top 12 get invited to be the circuit champion, I guess. So I'm 3rd. I don't know if there's any perks for being that high, like I don't know if you get a buy round or what, but it would be cool if you do. I would love to not play for a week. But yeah, also I realized when I started recording that I was like, oh, I'm gonna leave this up here so that nobody knows what the results are. But it actually says in the URL, won by Butch Hard Knight. So anybody who's paying attention would see that. So yeah, they edit it there. And I didn't pay attention. But yeah, highlighted there, and then I won again there. So yeah. This is my last, oh actually no, maybe it's not my last. I might record some of the invitational games if I think they're any good. I'd planned actually on recording this live. I'd never done live recording before, and I was like, oh, maybe that'll be fun. But then when we actually got around to playing the game, it was like 2 in the morning, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So I just decided against it and just stopped. But yeah, Scarlet Violet comes out in like a day, and I have a capture card now, so I'm just gonna record me doing weird shit.